I'm 85 years old, and I wish I knew this about family when I was 40. For most of my life, I believed the world had it all figured out for me. I thought if I worked hard, climbed the ladder, bought the house, and accumulated achievements, I would be fulfilled. I chased promotions, bank balances, and recognition, convinced that someday I would finally have the time to enjoy life with the people I love. But I was wrong. For decades, I missed the truth that would later define my happiness. At 52, something happened that changed everything. A cardiac event that nearly took my life. One moment, I was in a boardroom discussing projections, and the next, I was lying in a hospital bed, tubes in my arms, my wife crying beside me. The doctors told me I was lucky. 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 I had come face to face with my own mortality, and they called it luck. And yet, in that terrifying moment, I realized they were right. Because if I hadn't survived, I would have wasted another 50 years believing that success alone could bring meaning. Lying there, staring at the sterile white ceiling, I thought about my family. My children were growing up. My siblings were busy with their own lives. My parents were aging. And what had I done? I had built a career, collected accolades, and yet the people I loved most had been waiting for me in the wings of my life, unnoticed and under-prioritized. I had missed countless dinners, trips, birthdays, and quiet moments that would never return. The hardest truth hit me. If I died that day, I wouldn't leave behind a collection of memories. I would leave behind a house, a retirement account, and a stack of achievements that meant nothing without shared love, joy, and connection. I had been living on autopilot. Every day, I had checked boxes for everyone else, society, my job, my peers, while my heart and my family silently waited for me to show up. And yet, this is where most people get it wrong. They think time is unlimited. I'll do it later, they say. When I retire, when I make more money, when the kids are grown, I'll finally live. But I learned that the day never comes. Life keeps moving the goalposts. You reach one milestone and another appears. You make more money, but suddenly it's not enough. You get promoted, but another rung on the ladder awaits. And while you chase these invisible markers, your children grow up, your parents age, and the opportunities for meaningful connection quietly slip away. The most profound regrets I hear from people near the end of life aren't about failures. They are about missed moments, unlived experiences, and the love we never fully expressed. When I think about my own life, I see the roads not taken, the trips never taken with my family, the conversations postponed, and the meals missed because I was too busy working late or chasing recognition. I think about my brother, with whom I let distance grow, the book I always wanted to write, the laughter I could have shared with my children on ordinary days, and the hugs that were delayed by ambition. All of these small moments, seemingly insignificant at the time, are what life is truly made of. And suddenly, all the trophies, all the bank balances, all the accolades feel hollow in comparison. After that hospital experience, I began to see my life through a new lens. I realized that success without connection is meaningless. I had achieved what many would call everything: a stable career, a comfortable home, recognition from peers. And yet, for all that achievement, my family memories were scarce. The trips I never took with my children, the quiet Sunday afternoons I missed with my siblings, the conversations I postponed with my parents, all of these moments were lost forever. And what was I waiting for? A perfect time that never existed. I started asking myself difficult questions. If I died tomorrow, would I be proud of the life I led? Would I feel fulfilled by the hours spent in offices, the meetings attended, the deals closed? Or would I regret the absence of laughter around the dinner table, the hugs that were never given, the adventures we never took together? I realized my biggest mistake was assuming there would always be more time. There wouldn't be. My parents aged and eventually passed. My children grew up faster than I could notice. My siblings moved through their own lives, and every opportunity to connect slipped quietly into the past. In the years that followed, I made intentional changes. I stopped saying yes to every obligation that drained me. I stopped chasing promotions as if they were the only measure of worth. I started saying yes to experiences that mattered. Trips with my children, quiet afternoons with my grandchildren, evenings reconnecting with my siblings. I began to prioritize family above work, above pride, above the endless list of shoulds that had dictated my life for decades. I learned that happiness is found not in possessions or titles, but in shared experiences and love. Watching my grandchildren play, laughing with my children over memories we finally made together, listening to stories with my siblings, and taking my wife on small, spontaneous trips. These became my treasures. Each hug, each conversation, each moment of presence was more valuable than any award or paycheck I had ever earned. The simple act of showing up for the people I loved brought more fulfillment than any achievement had ever done. I also realized something critical. Regrets don't always hit you immediately. They accumulate quietly, like a shadow following you through life. You might be too busy to notice it at first, but one day you wake up and realize decades have passed, and the moments that really mattered were never prioritized. This is the lesson I wish I had learned at 40, that the people you love are your greatest treasure, and there's no reward more lasting than the time and love you give to them. And so, I began to live differently. I called my parents more often when they were alive. I forgave old grudges. I started trips I had postponed for years. I told my children and grandchildren that I loved them countless times, because words unspoken are lost forever. I embraced risks I had feared before, knowing that the only certainty in life is time passing. Every moment spent connecting, laughing, hugging, or simply being present became my new measure of success. Now at 85, I can say with absolute certainty that these last decades of focusing on family have been the richest of my life. Not because I earned more, or achieved more, or collected more possessions, but because I finally started living intentionally. I started noticing the small moments, a laugh shared with a grandchild, a conversation with a sibling, a quiet evening with my spouse, and I cherished them all. Every hug, every story told, every shared meal became priceless. I realized that love and connection are the only things that endure, long after titles fade, wealth disappears, and accomplishments are forgotten. But here's the hard truth I need you to understand. Time is finite. Every day you postpone reaching out, forgiving, hugging, laughing, traveling, or simply being present is a day lost forever. You cannot get it back. Your parents are aging, your siblings are moving through their lives, your children are growing up, and the clock keeps ticking. There will never be a perfect time to prioritize what matters. The perfect time is now. Not next year, not after a promotion, not when you have more money, not when life is easier. Now. If I could speak to my 40-year-old self, I would say this: stop trying to impress people who don't matter. Stop sacrificing your health, your happiness, and your presence for things that fade. Start calling your parents today. Hug your children. Take the trips you've dreamed about. Reconnect with friends you've lost touch with. Take risks that scare you, because fear is a poor excuse for missing life. Make memories now, not later. Do not let decades slip away believing you have time, because you don't. I've seen friends and colleagues waste their lives chasing success, only to realize at the end that it didn't matter. A friend of mine worked 70-hour weeks, built a multi-million-dollar business, never took a vacation, and kept saying, "I'll slow down next year." That next year never came. A stroke took him at 68, and his son said at the funeral, "My father was successful, but I barely knew him." Don't let that be your story. Don't let that be your legacy. Your life is measured not by what you earn, but by the love you give, the connections you nurture, and the memories you create. And so I ask you sincerely, from someone who has walked these years and seen both regret and joy, if you died tomorrow, would you be satisfied with the life you've lived so far? Not the life others would admire, not the life judged by wealth or status, but the life lived with those you love, fully present, fully engaged. If the answer is no, then do something today. Call that family member, take that trip, say the words you've held back, hug the people you love. Do not wait. Do not assume there is time. There isn't. These final decades have taught me more than the first 52 years ever did. I travel to places I dreamed of. I nurture relationships I once neglected. I forgive grudges that weighed me down. And I say, "I love you," countless times. I am happier now at 85 than I was at 40 or even 60, because I have learned to live with intention, to cherish the moments that truly matter, and to prioritize family above all else. Life is messy, complicated, and full of reasons to wait. But waiting steals decades from you. Don't let it steal yours. The life you want with the people you love must start today. Remember this: you have a choice. Keep chasing success, putting off happiness, telling yourself you'll have time later. Or wake up, realize that every moment counts, and live fully with those who matter most. You cannot make this choice for anyone else, but you can make it for yourself. Start now. Start today. Your family, your love, your memories, they are waiting, and so is the life you've been postponing. Don't waste another day. Live intentionally, love deeply, and never wait to create the moments that will define your legacy.